What's going on, everybody? Jay Howe here. And if you're a fan of the pet Witch Doctor, you've got something to be excited about. They've made a few changes over the last few patches, trying to find some way to make survivability better, trying to bring the pet Witch Doctor back at least somewhat viable, but we all know that it's kind of on the low end of the realm of DPS and just going out there and having fun with it. It seems like some big changes have been made, which I think are good reason to get excited about. I've been testing this on the PTR, and there are some really interesting things that we're going to do. Now, they've made the change. This is as of yesterday. Yesterday was March 20th. They made the last PTR update. They announced that Season 2 is ending and Season 3 is beginning in just over 2 weeks, which means patch 2.2.0 is just around the corner. Now, with that being said, they've made a couple changes. The 6-piece bonus change that they made just yesterday was that enemies hit by your mana spenders take 275% more damage from your pets for 4 seconds. That's up from 150%. They tested it at 150. It still didn't seem strong enough. Now, this gives you reason to actually spend mana. As a pet Witch Doctor, we were so used to using Reign of Toads that it just made no sense for us to actually use any type of mana spender. This gives us reason to do it, and it's very exciting to be able to look forward to. Now, they added a couple new Zunimassa pieces, namely the pants and the gloves. The problem with that is it's impossible to use the gloves because you want a pair of Tasker and Theos to get that attack speed bonus for your pets. So I saw this with the wizard, and it also seemed like they're trying to make some changes. They say, hey, we know that you're not going to be able to use that full 6-piece in any form or fashion that way, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and make up for it in another way. And what they're doing now, I have an old school Zunimassa offhand here. What they're doing with the new one is that they're actually making it so that it automatically rolls 20 to 25% more damage for your fetish army, which is a big difference because that was, one of those things. It's like, well, it's great that you introduce these new pieces, but we can't do anything with it. So once you get one, you'll actually see this as a 5th affix, and that's going to be a nice thing to have there because it's automatically going to roll there. It just fits well. So those are a couple of really exciting changes. Another piece of gear that is something to be excited about, and you can almost tie this in to the Jade Harvester build, which I'll go over in a separate video. This one here, the Belt of Transcendence. You'll see in the secondary there, summon a Fetish Sycophant when you hit with a mana spender, which again is more reason to use a mana spender. We were so used to having the Fetish Sycophants, and one of the big changes here, and you'll see that it used to be 10%, now it's up to 15% chance to summon a dagger-wielding fetish, except they didn't do much damage. You could get a couple million out of them and feel okay about it, but you couple that with the 6-piece bonus. That's great as well. But one of the big changes that they made is that the Fetish Sycophant that now spawns actually has their damage increased by your highest elemental damage type at the time of summoning. So depending on whether you're stacking that elemental damage on different pieces of gear, your Fetish Sycophants are now going to do that much more damage, which is really exciting. Another change that they made is they're kind of pushing cold right now. So what they did is they actually made the Fetish Army with Fetish Ambush. This took a huge leap from 250% weapon damage as cold to 680%. So this gives you a reason to kind of go cold as opposed to physical. I've tested both. I'm still trying to figure out which one is the strongest. Physical is still very, very powerful and very useful, although I'm trying to push the cold build to kind of test things out a little bit and see how this works. So that's another one. Another change that they made is with Summon Zombie Dogs. This also has been changed just a little bit. So Chilled to the Bone actually now has this. Enemies who are hit or are hit by your zombie dogs are chilled for 3 seconds and take 15%. This is up from an initial 10%. So this is good because enemies that are hitting them or are being hit by them are now being chilled, which is also going to, have the damage increase, which is great for something if you're running like a Bane of the Trapped to find other ways to, chill or slow enemies. So you can do this in several different ways. Maybe a change that you might be using is Frozen Piranhas with the cold one here. You can still go with Piranado, but it's just going to be up to you as far as how you want to run that. A couple things that just kind of make sense when you're running stuff. We're going to go ahead and put that back on Grave Injustice there. But we're finding ways to incorporate different things. I don't necessarily need Acid Cloud here. I can actually go with Big Bad Voodoo and continue to run Slam Dance. Now, if you have the ever-elusive Star Medal, congratulations. I cannot seem to ever get one, no matter how many hours that I play. But one of the things that's nice is being able to run a Mana Spender. And a good one that just kind of fits with the cold scheme here to be able to continue to keep those Fetish Sycophants up without running the passive is Spirit Barrage with the Spirit is Willing. Gain 12 mana each time Spirit Barrage hits. That goes great because you also can now run this passive, Rush of Essence. Now, special shout out to Feared Fox, who's been working with me over on Twitch while I've been doing some testing over there on the PTR. He's been kind of a back and forth for us to discuss some ideas, so he recommended this, and I do say that this works pretty nice. You'll see their Spirit spells return 100 mana over 10 seconds, one of those being Spirit Barrage. So you're being able to proc that 6-piece bonus there while simultaneously being able to spin the Mana Spender to be able to get your Fetish Sycophants up, which coincidentally do quite a bit more damage when you're actually hitting stuff with mana. So it's just a good synergy all around. Most of your Zunimassa gear will look fairly familiar. You'll now have to run the ring if you want to get all this stuff going. This I'm just using an ancient item because I'm doing more damage with that as the weapon damage. But you are obviously going to need the Zunimassa offhand. There's not going to be any two-handers here, at least not yet in terms of builds. But that just is really exciting. Now I want to show you guys this in action. I want to show you a couple different pieces of this. And I don't necessarily want to just bust it out all at one time because T6, we're going to blow through stuff. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to show you summon zombie dogs. Now we've got a little bit of cold skill damage. And I'm going to run over here and you're going to see as soon as they attack, they're slowing stuff around. Well, that's me slowing stuff, but you can see that they're doing 1.6, 1.8 million damage. Now, the minute I start hitting them with Spirit Barrage, now you're seeing 6, 7 million crits there, up to 10, 8 million crits. That is where the Zunimassa 6-piece is coming into play. Now, being able to tag all that stuff, getting the benefit from Bane of the Trapped from what they're hitting them with, and you can see that the damage takes a pretty big increase. Now, I need to take that belt off because my Fetish Sycophants, maybe that's where the bigger crits were coming in from. But we'll take that off, and you can see that as soon as we start hitting them, the crit numbers are going up quite a bit. So and there, I don't know why that wasn't proccing. Maybe it's the first time you hit. I don't know why that wasn't working. But we went ahead and put Piranha, the frozen piranhas down to get the chilled effect as well. And you can see that those zombie dogs are actually doing the damage they're supposed to now from that 6-piece there. Because it does say pets. It doesn't just say Fetish Army or anything like that. It is for all pets. That was Seabor's Nightmare where Haunt gets casted on everybody. Now, I'm going to go ahead and keep those pets up, but I'm going to go ahead and put on the Belt of Transcendence so you can actually see that as these guys spawn, you'll see the counter at the top left. Those Fetish Sycophants are spawning quite rapidly. It's whenever you hit a new enemy. You can't just spam on one enemy. But as you can see, there was a 39 million crit in there, and that's from the Fetish Sycophants that normally are pretty weak, but they're actually doing quite a bit more damage as we get in there. So that's a really nice change. Now, I haven't even busted out the actual Fetish Army yet because that's just going to completely destroy everything, and I'll show you that here in 1 second. I just wanted to get you an idea on how strong the actual Fetish Sycophants actually are, because before you could only squeeze out a little bit of damage, and they were nice to have because they were somewhat of a shield, but they just never felt that strong. So we'll go ahead and finish off this mob here, and then I'll show you the actual Fetish Army. Now again, like I said, it might be more worth your while to run the physical ones with Legion of Daggers, or if you have the Star Metal Fetish, the Tiki Torches there. But Fetish Ambush, you're only going to have 5 of them, but they are doing significantly more weapon damage as opposed to something else. The 180%, now you're doing 680% with fewer of them each attacking. So depending on the playstyle there, and again, I'm going to go ahead and switch the belt off so our Fetish Sycophants all go away there. And now it's time to bust out the actual fetish army. Now you'll see that we're getting decent crits in there, 15, 17 million, and that's great. But I need them to do more. And there was a 52 million crit, and if we can find some stuff, and this is why it's hard to show on T6. Once we get some actual big numbers in here, some high health monsters, you're actually going to see that even without, prime gear, that I'm getting somewhere up in the vicinity of 90 million crits. And you're going to see it's obviously going to scale differently in terms of how this is working. So remember, it's only for 4 seconds, so you've got to continue to attack, and that's the main thing is that they're trying to get, is that they want you to continue to use mana spinners. They don't want you to sit there and spam Rain of Toads like there's no tomorrow. So that's kind of the big changes that have been made. So I know I'm kind of slow playing this, but I want to give you guys the confidence that going forward, there's some 90 million crits. I don't know if you guys could see that. That was some nice 90 plus. I saw 112, 119 in there. That's all well and good. That is what I wanted to get to show you guys. Now you can almost simulate this with physical as well, but that is what I wanted to show you, is that the 6P Zunimassa makes a huge difference. We went from 30 million crits, like 20 million crits, all the way up to 112 in the middle of all that. So that's really nice to keep in mind when you're doing all of that and gearing up. No longer are you going to spam that primary. No need to do that. You're actually going to get quite a bit of damage from those fetishes. Now, you can go ahead and couple that together. You get all of your fetish sycophants up. You get all of your... we're going to go ahead and teleport back. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys just how quick the Butcher is. It really shines. Now, in Greater Rifts, one of the things I think that we always run into is that it's hard when there's a lot of enemies running around. They're all over the map. It's hard to keep up with them. But the minute you get to that single target damage is when this build really shines. And it's not much different when you're in Greater Rifts. It's very, very, single target specific. But you also have quite a bit running around. And it makes it so much easier to just kind of run through here. And we've got a gelatinous sire there. And you can see just how fast he died. He's spawning all the little ones. I don't really have to do much. We'll go ahead and tag him real quick. I need the blues. I need the arcane dust. But there you can see just how fast those things can go down. You don't technically have to do much attacking in Torment 6. But if you are looking to take this into Greater Rifts, obviously you'll want to make sure and stay busy. So that's the Fetish Army. Update. The Zunimassa has taken a huge leap forward, and I'm terribly excited about it. We didn't even pop our big bad voodoo in there, but there we did it for fun. But that's it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this over to the Butcher so you can see just how fast everything goes down, and see all the finishes in action. That's quite a few there. Quite a few pets. Actually, we're already there, so we'll go ahead, bear with me one more second. We will scoot on up here. I want to make sure I attack, because if I don't attack, my fetish army, or my fetish sycophants are going to disappear, because they're only up for 60 seconds. But here is absolute mutilation with the new Zunimassa set. We'll tag it, and Butcher's dead. Like I said, this really shines for big single target damage, so if you can get there, great. Hopefully that works well for you. Anyways, that's the Zunimassa set, ladies and gentlemen. That's something to be excited about. So if you have hung up your Witch Doctor to dry, it's now time to leave them, take them off the rack, whip them out, and actually use your Witch Doctor for once. And be excited about doing the pet one. Be on the lookout for a Jade Harvester update, because there were some major changes made there as well as possibly coupling it with this belt or this belt. To make for quite a bit of fun there. So thank you all for watching. Be on the lookout. You can check me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/jhow4444, as I will be streaming from the PTR as well as the minute patch 2.2.0 goes live. So be on the lookout for all of that. Also, feel free to check out any future videos that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to give you guys as many possible updates as I can over the next few weeks for patch 2.2.0 and going forward. So if you haven't already subscribed, be sure and do that now if you want to. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Happy hunting. See you next time.